What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Clarence B. Bowser. I just wanted to say thank you, Lord, for this time. You know, sometimes we don't take a moment to say thank you for the little things. We're too busy complaining about what we don't have, and instead of appreciating what we do have, it gets taken away, and then we're complaining even more. And I used to be that person. I used to be that person that complained about everything, how life was so wrong and how people did me wrong, and you know, the whole woe is me story. So this is just a little testimony of what God has done for me. I pray that it's a blessing to someone. I hope it helps somebody, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is that you're going through. Just know that I've been there. So, testimony time. So in 2017, I tried to commit suicide. I was in the tub with the toaster. And when I let go of the toaster, it was like time froze. And I heard this soft voice asking me, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I took you away from this, and yet you still want to go back." So that's just a brief conversation of what we had. You know, of course, I was being argumentative, and I was putting up the reason why I'm going through this and why I'm doing that, and you know, I was just being argumentative. And I remember that voice telling me, "It is done." Didn't know what it meant, but I heard those same words back in 2012 when I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. So, you ever see those movies where the people, when they're on the ledge and they're about to jump, and then they come to and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe what happened?" Yeah, that was that moment. So when I let go and time froze, it seemed like forever. Wherever it was that I was spiritually, I don't know. I don't know where I was. But that voice was so soothing, letting me know that everything is going to be okay. So when I snapped back to, I ended up grabbing the toaster. So I didn't drop it in the water. While all this is taking place, there's police outside of my window. I was in the bathroom. They're outside of my window, trying to figure out how to get inside of my house. So I get out of the tub and I barricade myself against the door. When I did this, they were trying to get inside of the house, and then one of the officers decided to kill the power, and it really made me chuckle. Like, why didn't y'all kill the power when y'all first got here compared to waiting? But that's neither here nor there. So when that took place, I got taken to a mental health facility. And in this mental health facility, I had to reevaluate my situation. I had to reevaluate how I looked at life. Because at this point in time, I started to realize that I loved my wife. Now, me and my wife have been married since 2014. So for me to come to the grips of 2017, and then I'm like, hey, yeah, I think I love my wife. I realized that in order for me to love anybody, I had to first love myself. And that was a hard thing for me. Loving myself was nearly impossible because I grew to love hatred. And hatred was my fuel. So my majority of my life, it was about death and destruction. and how much of it can I bring to others? So in 2017, it was no different. Death and destruction. And how much of it can I bring to others? So as I'm in this facility, this mental health facility, they 5150 me. They diagnosed me with schizophrenia, bipolar, with suicidal ideation, and manic depression. There's a lot more. I don't remember all of them. So they finally diagnosed me with a label, right? They put a label on me. So in 2018, this is the first year that I went without suicide. In 2019, this is the second year that I went without suicide. 2020, man, I was doing so good until the end of the month. The end of the year, December. And I tried to commit suicide yet again. I tried to commit suicide, and I went and I bought me some rat poison. Now, people told me plenty of times, suicide is not going to be the way that I leave this earth. And God has bigger plans and bigger things for you. So you're not going to take your life. You're not going to be able to take your life. And as many times as I have tried, I failed as many times as I have tried. So the fact that I'm here today is not because of who I am. It is literally because how good God is. So on that note, as I take this poison down to the park where nobody's around, instead of contemplating and thinking about it, I just get straight to it. I open the package, and inside the package is this container that holds the rat poison. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to get in and scoop out a little piece of the rat poison. For about 30 minutes, I fought with this container, and I gave up. I said, you know what, Lord, really, like you just, and it was at that moment, it was like, you're not gonna have that success. And yet again, I failed again. But what I didn't know, or what I didn't think about, was the devil had planted a seed. So in 2017, they took away my right to bear arms because I got 5150. So when they took away my right to bear arms, it wasn't a big deal for me because I never really cared about guns to begin with. But in 2020, I got introduced to this company. And this gentleman comes down, he sits down with me and my wife, and he's talking to me about life insurance. Well, again, life insurance is something that never really crossed my mind. I never really thought about it. So I asked the gentleman, what is the stipulations that your company will not pay out? His response was, the only thing that we don't pay out for is suicide within the first 2 years. I said, really? So after 2 years, you're telling me that if a person committed suicide, your company is going to pay out? He says, absolutely. That's kind of a weird question, but yeah, absolutely. So remember I told you the devil had planted a seed. So no one knew the motive. But there's a lot of things that was going to take place in 2022. For example, the 5150 hold was going to be lifted. And because it was going to be lifted, that means I was going to be able to get registered for a firearm. Not only in 2022 does my 5150 hold get lifted, but also my life insurance goes over the 2-year mark. So that seed that the devil had planted, he started watering. And he started watering. And he just kept feeding it to me daily. Hey, look, about time your 5150 hold is up, your life insurance will be able to cover. So if you commit suicide, they're going to pay out. That's what the guy said. So then you'll be perfectly fine to take your life. You'll be perfectly fine because your family, they'll be well taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything. So I say 8 months after me joining with this business, my sister that's in jail gives me a call and she's crying. She's crying. I'm like, what's wrong, sis? She says, I had a dream last night that you got a hold of a gun and you blew your brains out. I said, that's crazy. Because I keep having that same dream too. So we talked for maybe about 15 minutes. And I told her right before we got off the phone, I said, sis, I'm going to do a favor. I'm going to make you a promise. I said, come May 18th, which is my birthday, I said, I'm going to master my craft so much that suicide is going to be the thing that's the furthest thing from my mind. I said, so no matter how good, how bad, how happy, how sad, no matter what happens in this lifetime, suicide will not be the thing that's going to take me out. Suicide is not going to be my issue. Suicide is not going to be the thing that I dwell on. So we hang up the phone. Fast forward some time. I reach out to my coach. And I tell him, I say, hey, do you remember when you signed me up for life insurance? And I told you, and I asked you about that question? He says, yeah, I didn't really think nothing of it. So I tell him my plan of what the plan was going to be. And he's like, you were really going to do that? Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I've never encountered somebody that was that determined to take their life. I said, yeah. And then I told him about my conversation with my sister. He's like, honestly, I don't even know what to say. So we hang up. Fast forward another month. I tell my wife, and she says, you know, I honestly thought that's what you meant, but I wasn't going to push the issue because I didn't want to jump the gun. So then I tell my mom, then I tell my kids, and it allows me to tell other people. So now we fast forward to May 17th, a day before my birthday. Man, oh man. If I tell you the devil, if he wasn't busy that day, out of all the other times in my life, he was definitely busy that day. From the time I woke up, all you heard was, man, you just need to go ahead and take your life. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody cares about what you got going on. Your business is fluctuating. Nobody's ever going to read your books. They don't care about your story. Nobody cares. All day. I mean all day, all day, all day. He pricked and he pricked. And I'm not going to lie, the ideas that he was giving, it sounded really good. It sounded really, really good. But I've learned something. Sometimes your reason to go on has to be more than your reason to quit. So the only thing that I can think about was the promise I made to my sister. So he's going hard. And again, it was tempting. 11:59. I don't know if he knew if he knew that it was coming, but he went hard. Really, really hard. Tempting with everything he can throw at me. Everything. 12 o'clock hits. And it was like there was a peace I've never felt before. And the reason why I say that is because that voice that I was hearing, those voices that I was hearing, stopped. So I've never in my 35 years of life been where I am mentally, spiritually, and physically. See, God already restored my mind. He restored my heart. And now he just restored my spirit. So, made it very, very possible for me to be where it is I am. Honestly, God is so good. Even when we are not, God is so good. People can deny his existence. They can say that there is no God. You're entitled to that. But for those that want to believe, for those that choose to believe, for those that have to believe, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't turn astray. Put that laser focus on God and watch him do some amazing things in your life. I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know why it was placed in my heart to say this. But I'm 35 years old. I have 6 books published. The first 5 books, they're coming back. But as of right now, you can't get them. And the reason why is because my publisher took off with my money. They stopped distributing my books. And they stopped publishing my books. So they tried to take off with my copyright as well. So now, coming soon, I will be having my own publishing company. And it's through God, but it's also through this company that I'm with. So if you would like to know how to become your own business owner, how to become your own boss, where you make your hours, you make your money, look me up. Just know, don't stop. Everybody has a story, but not everybody wants to tell it. The only problem with that is somebody out there needs to hear your story specifically. And God's not going to let you get away with doing nothing, because he's placed on your shoulders a whole lot more. The process is never going to be easy. But if you look back at your life, when has anything ever been easy? So if it has never been easy, don't expect it to be easy now. Just know that God said he would never leave you nor forsake you. And he's there anytime you need him. Hope that helps. Love you guys. God bless.